Alright, I don't know how this is gonna be. This is my first time using a face cam along with like with the gameplay footage and audio. I'm also recording through this mic right here. So we'll see how that turns out. But today I'm gonna be playing a game called Thanks for Listening by a very intelligent and handsome creator named Chris Chang. I just picked up the game and I've always wanted to play it. It's one of the best games that came out in 2019 apparently, so I'm gonna start playing it. I'm digging the music though, the music. Yeah, so I'll just click this button right here. Dear valued listener, I thank you for investing in our long overdue project, and though this game is crudely built, I hope it retains the one part that matters the most. Something that transcends tin machines, pet knobs, and asbestos inner lining. It has a soul. This product was built for someone who had lived life to the fullest. To her students, friends, and family, she meant a lot to each of us. And though she is no longer with us, let the markings on each of these machines promise to donate all its profits to aid cancer cure research in her honor. Thank you for your purchase. Use spacebar to pause the game, go to the home page, or change volume settings. Use the arrow keys that change the volume or stations. Use A and W keys to change system volume. Okay. The story changes based on your actions, so listen and change the story using the arrow pad on the top left corner. Huh, I need to write that down actually. I hope it prompts me the actual keys. Okay, I might need to write that down. Alright. It's loading. It's loading. It's taking a little bit to load, but maybe it's like a Skyrim or like a GTA 5.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to the Alma County Community Radio Station, where we tell stories on the hour by each hour. And today, folks, we mark a special day in this station's history books because it is the 25-year anniversary of this station. And let me just be the first to say that I am downright kickin' happy that this station's made it this far. Now, as some listeners may know, this has been the second career in my life. My first being a chief officer at a local police station, doing right by the streets and making sure everyone was safe. Now, unfortunately, due to medical reasons, I had to leave that job. And here I am now, hosting this lovely station. Now, I bring up this tidbit not to bore you with my past history and, frankly, my boring track record, but I bring up this show that in this community, anyone can be a rapper. Anyone can be a storyteller. And no matter who you are, you can follow your dreams. Thank you, everyone, for listening and staying with us for all these years. Now, to commemorate this loving anniversary, we are going to be reading a few letters from the fans collected over the years, done in chronological order.
Should I move the face cam?
Our first one is by one Emma Caldwell. She's been a listener for us ever since the first month of this station. Based on the frequency of the letters we have here, dear Lori Mew, she's got quite a bit to say about us. So without further ado, let's begin. The first letter to us was after what story were we on? Alright. The Elves in this story. Alright, let's see what she has to say. The story on the Elves in this. To start writing and pursuing my own career writing, really, D&D campaigns, huh? Of course, by here I mean, dragons and drunkards. Anyway, all of which was inspired by your work. So thank you, keep up the good work, and much love and thanks, Emma Caldwell. Oh, that's very nice of you, Emma. Now, I don't think we're gonna be able to get through all yours, so let's just skip to the most recent. Now, once again, this is Emma Caldwell, written, would you believe it, yesterday. Alright, let's see what she has to say.
I'm just gonna click randomly.
I don't know what's been happening to your station over these years. The stories have degraded, I know. Work off, and you can run out of ideas on the top of your head. The stories have been lacking and their charisma's waning. Please improve. Emma Caldwell. Well, that's an interesting statement, Emma. Alright, let's just move on to the next Where's it then? Now, our next writer is Sean Song. He's been a fan, according to him, since last year, which is a bit more recent. Let's see what he has to say. I love this station. I love how everything is done. Improv. Wait, what do you write? In improv. There it is. Alright. I love how everything's written in improv, and all your stories are unique and creative. I really admire your abilities, Stan, but sometimes they can go one way or the other. Thank you, Sean. Alright, now listeners, our last letter for the evening is
I'm just playing the Soviet Union.
a local number station. That's strange. I'll expect them to be writing to us, but regardless, let's see what they have to say. Tick-tock goes the meter. Every 8 will change the rate. By 1 tick goes the code of ash and silver and ones and zeros. So listen and you will see what poor soul's fate who wants to be free. Your local number station. What does that even mean? Despite being on the station forever and making up stories on the fly, my creative understanding of numbers and such is pretty lacking. We'll be having another section where I'll be reading letters out loud further along. But for now, let's get to our main story. And this one is gonna be a doozy. So hang tight, huddle over, and listen to the soothing voice of Stan.
I'm just trying to play the Russian anthem with this keypad. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. I'll figure it out sometime, but okay.
Welcome, adventurer, to the escape of Trilospire, a Dawn Owl LLC story. Press 1 to start. Welcome, adventurer, to the escape of Trilospire.
Oh, 1 on the keypad.
Dawn Owl LLC story. Press 1 to start. Welcome, adventurer, to the escape.
Okay.
You find yourself in a dungeon, clad in iron manacles that feed into the wall. You have not seen the sun in days. The only thing you see is a small flame crackling in the corner across from you, and an apple core that made up your last meal. Do you, 1, throw the apple core at the guard? 2, draw more attention by yelling and feigning an injury? You find yourself in a dungeon, clad in iron manacles. 2, the guard ignores what you do. What do you do now? 1, try to actually harm yourself. Oh, that sounds green. Or 2, try to break open your chains. 2. 2. You can't break chains, you fool. And you pass out in your exhaustion and find yourself at the gallows the next day. Really, what were you expecting? Your journey ends here.
Oh, alright. Well, that was,
Well, you're the first person to try this route. Good on you. Yeah, I don't think there's a way around this path. You'll have to try the other one.
You find yourself in a dungeon.
oh, okay.
Clad in iron manacles that feed into the wall. You have not seen the sun in days. The only thing you see is a small flame crackling in the corner across from you, and an apple core that made up your last meal. 2. 1. Steeling yourself under the imminent pain, you quickly jerk your arm, using your chain to dislocate your arm from your shoulder. You cry out in pain, and the gut immediately charges into the room. What do? 1. Attack the guard, or 2. Let him leave to find someone to treat your wounds. 1.
Attack.
1. You lunge at the guard, but feel a sharp spike of pain as your arm betrays you. The guard punches you in your broken joint, and you collapse in pain. You find yourself at the gallows the next day. Your adventure ends here.
I died again.
Using your 2. The guard takes off to the medical ward. You are met with a kind doctor who begins to treat your wounds. Do you 1. Attempt to plead to her to gain your freedom, or 2. To take one of her instruments? 2. The guard takes off to the medical ward. You are met with a kind doctor who begins to
Kind.
treat your wounds.
I'm gonna go with 1.
Do you 1. Attempt to plead to her to gain your freedom? Or 2. To take one of her instruments?
I said 1. I said 1.
2. The guard takes off to the medical ward. You are
1.
met with a kind doctor
2.
who begins to treat your wounds.
What the heck?
Do you
I'm
1.
clicking 1.
Attempt to plead to her
Okay.
to gain your freedom?
We'll just move on.
Or 2.
There wasn't inherent force driving us, but there was something there. Something moving us. We always knew to wait. Our family was actually esteemed, I say, professional waiters. And quite literally in the literal sense. Some of us were waiters, some of us were cheesemakers, some of us were fishers. In my particular case, I was, what was it again? Give me, folks, it's been a while. Alright, I ran stock markets. That's why we moved. Yeah, I used to run the stock markets, and while other investors would just throw their money at the first rise they saw, I knew to wait. And over time, we kept meeting and kept saying hi. Eventually, we worked slow, but eventually, she said yes. And that day changed my life. We never really had kids, but we were happy with each other. Taking time by. Eventually we had enough money so I could retire. At that point, I got the ache in myself. You know how old people are always telling stories and jabbering on? Well, I got that similar aching. So pretty soon I started finding myself rambling on and on to my wife. Funny thing is, she heard most of these stories several times. Heck, she lived half of them. And I'll get to those stories later when we have the time, but unfortunately, as time went by, she sort of died.
She sort of died.
I really had no one left. So I was just there, wandering and yabbering, which is kind of where the station's name came from. And, yeah. Eventually I decided, heck, might as well share my stories or listen to other people's stories before I kick the bucket. Get that last bit of wisdom in me. But I always waited for the right opportunity. Never found it. Until now, where, like I said, August Miller was willing to come in. Speaking of which, where is that? Alright then, maybe Samuel. Samuel was actually the friend I met at the stock market. Good fella. Wouldn't say as good as Gary, but a good fella. Definitely fairer on his deals, though. Really knew how to hustle them. Heck, he almost made that burn and rush strategy work. Always going for the new thing. Always changing when it starts to fall. But, of course, I always came out on top. And unfortunately for him, he went bankrupt a while later, but I helped him back on his feet. He was a good guy. He roomed with me, actually. Damn, he didn't even respond either. People, clear your bloody answering machines. What year is this? Do you all forget how to do it? Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna keep rambling for a bit longer, and if it doesn't show up, I'm just gonna end this thing here. It's not like it meant anything. So, I talked about a few of my friends, talked about my life. What's a good story without a few marital fuck-ups? Alright, let's talk about my wedding mistakes. So, most of you probably had like something go wrong in your wedding, but I can assure you, I take the cream of the crop. So, on the day of my wedding, all the guests arrived, everything I thought was prepared, but at the last minute, we realized we had no rings. So we were sitting there in this giant procession. My whole family was there. We spent every dime we had on what we could to make this wedding look great. But we forgot the bloody rings. And to top it all off, someone forgot to inform my great aunt that the cake had peanuts in it. It was a peanut butter and chocolate cake. And she doesn't see too well, so she didn't notice the nuts in there, and, well, she went into anaphylactic shock. Now, normally, when you see someone anaphylactic shock, you freak out. They're starting to swell, they're starting to bloat, but you gotta remember, this was in the after party. Everyone was raving, partying, dancing, no one could tell. Now, thankfully, at the last minute, we did find that she was in pain, suffering, so we rushed her over to a hospital. And there at the hospital, we realized that it was something a bit worse. So we helped her out. We're panicking. Oh God, I hope it wasn't the peanuts. But no, as it turns out, she was choking on something. She didn't take the cake at all. She was choking on some piece of chicken. And the entire time, she was just holding it in, trying to say something, but she couldn't. So, as the doctor's sitting, he's looking at us like we're a group of idiots. Slams my great aunt dead on the chest. That piece of meat flies out of her mouth and hits me square between the eyes. It honestly was a shot for the history books. You know the shot heard around the world? Well, this thing topped it. Anywho, so aside from the wedding ring, aside from my great aunt, let's see, what else went wrong that day? Oh yeah, you know, we have those just married limousines. Well, instead, what we thought would be a good idea was a carriage. So we rented a nice carriage. That one from that one movie, the Cindy whatever. Yeah, we rode in one of those things. And what we didn't account for was the pure amount of horse crap they give. So when we parked it inside of the building for like photo shoots and stuff, those horses just shat on the floor. It was awful. I'm just glad we rented a hall and didn't do it in our house. So yeah, that was my wedding. 3 different things, but still the most memorable day of my life. Damn, August. Still not here. Honestly, what can that guy be up to? Heck, I'm gonna call him up. This is real strange, listeners. Like, he's not the type to... Alright, tell you what. Since nothing else was working here, I'll just wait it out, I guess. It's worked for my family thus far. Heck, I've heard silence in my family has worked even better, so I'm just gonna sit down here and wait for things to change. I'm not kidding, by the way. This works in my family. We just sit and wait and stuff just happens. You'll be surprised. That's a force I can donate to. I'll send my payments and regards over to you. Best of luck, and don't wait.
Did that have the screen go dark?
Wait, who's this? Oh, no kidding. You run a radio station, you say. Alright, well, thank you for your time. Have a good one.
Nice
Hey
one.
there, my name's Ed Wood. I'm the owner of the Yonder to Wander radio station, and I heard about your circumstance and thought, hey, why don't I donate and help a fellow host out? So, if you need help on how to run these things, as I'm sure you know is a tough biz, or heck, I might actually need that help as well, feel free to call me on the number 621-998-1247. Once again, that's 621-998-1247.
Okay,
All right,
let's call that
best of
number then.
luck to you.
Oh, 621, oops. god. Alright, well, I guess I'll release an episode for now. And we'll leave it up to suggestions in the comments below or something. I don't know what I'm going to do with this footage, but we'll see if I can pull off an edit or something. Very confused. Maybe I'll reset the game and try recording
2.
again.
The guard takes off.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll see you.